A hush fell over Yatsushiro, a fishing village nestled on the western shores of Japan's Kyushu island. The year was 1985, and the usually vibrant streets echoed with an unsettling quiet. The summer heat pressed down on the town, but it wasn't the warmth that bothered the townspeople. It was the unnatural silence. Even the seagulls had fallen silent, their raucous cries replaced by an eerie quiet. At the heart of this unsettling calm was the ocean. The East China Sea, normally a boisterous, life-giving force, seemed to have retreated into itself, mirroring the growing unease in the hearts of the villagers. For a place where life revolved around the sea, this silence was deafening. It was as if the very soul of the village was being sucked into the sea's mysterious depths. 17-year-old Hana Mori felt this unsettling energy acutely. As she strolled along the shore, the soft sand shifting under her worn sandals, she couldn't shake off a nagging feeling of dread. Hana loved the sea. Its rhythm was ingrained in her, its moods as familiar to her as the lines on her palm. But lately, the sea had been behaving strangely. Fishermen returning from their daily catch had tales of nets coming up empty and of fish that fought listlessly instead of their usual strong-spirited fight. Even the sunset, usually a breathtaking spectacle of colors, seemed muted, as if sharing the sea's somber mood. One evening, Hana noticed something peculiar while collecting shells. The waterline seemed unusually high, lapping at the base of the torii gate of the village shrine. Concerned, she hurried to the village elder, her heart pounding in her chest. But the elder, his face etched with age and wisdom, only shook his head, his gaze distant. "The sea is a fickle mistress," he said, his voice raspy with age. "She can be kind and generous one moment, then turn stormy and unforgiving the next." His words, though cryptic, did little to ease Hana's troubled mind. As days turned into weeks, the sea's strangeness became a palpable presence in the village. Whispers turned to murmurs, and the carefree laughter that once echoed by the shore was replaced by hushed tones. Fear, like a weed, began to take root, choking the joy out of their lives. Determined to uncover the reason behind the sea's strange behavior, Hana delved into her family's attic, unearthing an old battered trunk filled with her grandmother's things. Inside, she found a faded photograph of her grandmother as a young girl, standing proudly beside a group of villagers. On the back, the date was clearly visible, August 1968, but it was the article clipped to the photograph that caught her attention. The article, yellowed with age, detailed a protest by villagers against a local factory dumping toxic waste into the sea. The date beneath the article, August 1968, matched the date on the photograph. Could there be a connection between the two? Driven by this newfound lead, Hana visited the old folks in the village, hoping to piece together the story. She learned of a time when the sea had turned murky, when fish had died in massive numbers, and when the factory's waste had poisoned the very essence of their lives. She heard of protests, of anger, and of a collective bargaining that had forced the factory to clean up its act. Armed with this knowledge, Hana confronted the factory owner, demanding answers for the current state of the sea. The owner, a man more concerned with profit than the environment, dismissed her concerns. But Hana wasn't deterred. She rallied the villagers, reminding them of the past and urging them to fight for their present. Together, they confronted the factory owner, demanding that he too listen to the sea. The climax came during the annual Obon festival, a time when the veil between the living and the dead is at its thinnest. As the villagers prepared to release paper lanterns onto the sea, symbolizing their hopes and dreams, Hana climbed onto the stage, her voice ringing with conviction. "This sea has given us life. It's our duty to protect it." Her words hung in the air, echoing the sentiment in every villager's heart. That night, as the sky blazed with fireworks, the sea seemed to stir. The waves crashed against the shore, not in anger, but in a release of pent-up emotions. The next morning, the sea was different. The water sparkled in the sunlight, teeming with life. The fish returned, their scales shimmering, and the seagulls resumed their noisy symphony. The villagers, their spirits lifted, celebrated with a fervor that touched even Hana's heart. From then on, the villagers kept a close watch on the factory, ensuring it would never again harm their precious sea. And every year, during the Obon festival, they released lanterns into the sea, a silent promise to listen to the sea and honor its timeless wisdom.